especially on something flat like this, or relatively flat. It's 12 meters and 700. What are we depth here? Yeah, so 12-meter resolution. I can look it up for you.
Do you happen to know, Johan, if they did a 3-pass Norbit survey on the Preston before we showed up? Did they do the full normal one or just a single pass? Okay. Thank you. Oh, Rennie has that. Rennie's got a list of every funny joke that he's ever told on Nautilus or anyone else has ever told on Nautilus. He does. It's a note on his phone. He'll be like, oh, do you remember this inside joke from 5 years ago? Nope.
It's true, yeah. Yeah, it's true. I'm not sure why it is I don't get it, but, you know. Generally the answer is I'm old, so.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Um, writing a dive report, not urgently busy. Ayanami. Do you have facts about the Ayanami, Daniel?
I can stand by. No,
Take a little more than that.
yeah, and from the sketches that were done 33 years ago, it's pretty beaten up. So the bridge is gone, the funnels are gone. You do see a couple of the guns still, 3 turrets. So you see, well, 4 turrets, but the entire front section of it is kind of twisted. So the front section lays on its side, and then everything else lays up. Yeah, this is intriguing.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would guess that's has to do with that. What's our distance? What's our estimated time of arrival? Roger that. So for folks that are still online, just to give you folks a bit of an update. So it has been a very productive day today. We successfully surveyed 3 destroyers early in the morning. The Japanese destroyer Udachi, and it was quite a torn up wreck. And then after that, we proceeded to 2 U.S. destroyers, the USS De Haven and USS Preston, and both of those were surveyed in detail as well. And right now, we finished imaging the Preston about half an hour ago, and right now we're towing the vehicles due west. We're south of Savo Island, and we have a series of targets, including one pretty prominent known target, another U.S. destroyer, the USS Walke, which is about an hour further towing from us. But prior to going to that target, we'll investigate a target that was identified during seafloor mapping surveys by the EM-712 multi-beam sonar on the gondola of uncrewed surface vehicle DRIX that is being operated by our colleagues from the University of New Hampshire Center of Coastal Ocean Mapping, who have set up a shore-based station in Honiara, and they are piloting the vehicle from there. It's an autonomous vehicle that can be fully autonomous, but it can also be piloted. And that's important when you operate in waters like here where there's channel and boat traffic. So periodically it can go out for several days and it comes back to shore to being refueled. And it is collecting seafloor mapping data, and then we're having daily meetings here between both our on board. We have Dr. Larry Mayer, who leads the watch coming out after us, and both him as well as his team members on shore are processing the data and looking for anomalies. And they have found quite a few of them. Today I got a long list of targets, so over 50 that have identified. And it's interesting, we're having these daily communications where we tell them where we're going to go, where our next planned dive site are, and then they basically design a survey to be just directly upstream from that, so basically mapping the areas adjacent to where the ROVs are going to be. And the idea is that way we can then have these surveys like we've been having, where we do a survey of a known wreck and then tow the vehicles across unidentified targets in hopes of finding additional shipwrecks. Through this approach, we've already identified one additional wreck, a bow section of a very famous and illustrious ship that only lost its bow and then had a pretty heroic story sailing backwards across the Pacific. That story was actually picked up by press today, so there's all kinds of media outlets picked up that story. Featured stories in CNN and other outlets. And hopefully that's the first of many to follow. And in addition to that, we've also had a couple of false positives. So we did tow across quite a few targets identified by DRIX that ended up being mounds or natural features. And just illustrating the difficulty of doing this type of thing. The multi-beam sonar on DRIX is at these depths able to resolve features that are about 12 meters in length. Just to put that into perspective, some of these destroyers that we just finished imaging, they're just a little wider than 12 meters. So, if the DRIX is passing directly perpendicular to destroyer, you would see a single pixel. And so you really have to do multiple passes and hope that you catch it as you go the long way across it. And then also where the wreck is in relation to the overlying topography has some implications. So if you have a wreck that is directly adjacent to a steep slope, you can have then the slope basically shadowing that wreck. And so it's not as clear cut as that. If you have a wreck, you'll find it. And the good news is that we'll have plenty of time left. So we still have a good 13 days of operations, and they are able to do continuous operations. And by the time this is all said and done, we hope to have covered the entire Iron Bottom Sound. And hopefully some portions of it multiple times, those portions where we think there are higher densities of wrecks. So right at in the western part of Guadalcanal, and that channel between Savo Island and Guadalcanal, that's also where the ship is now moving. That's where about a dozen or so PT boats and several destroyers were lost. And so we'll probably spend some time in this area. There's also a gap on the eastern side of Savo Island, and that's where we plan to be tomorrow. So looking ahead, today's dive is going to continue for another 12 hours or so. At 11:30 local time here in Honiara, so just over 12 hours from now, we will have to pull the vehicles off the bottom, and that will conclude a pretty successful and lengthy dive that started actually over 3 days ago now. So we are running into over 72 hours of continuous ROV operations. And so yeah, at 11:30, the vehicles will be pulled back on deck, and then we'll steam eastwards. We'll have a couple of personnel transfers, including one just after lunch, as well as one just before dinner, to bring some additional personnel back on board, as well as some parts, as our engineers continue to do some maintenance work on the ship. And that basically will mean that we'll have the vehicles on deck for about 8 hours, and there's also some important maintenance work that will be done on the vehicles, adjusting some of the cameras. And so at 19:30, 7:30 p.m. local time, we'll plan to launch the vehicles yet again for the 4th ROV dive of the expedition. And most likely we'll focus that dive on a known target, another Japanese destroyer that was sunk off Savo Island, the Japanese destroyer Ayanami. And then we did pick up a pretty prominent target just north of that matches the last known record of USS Duncan, which has not yet been found. That's a destroyer that also was part of the early days of the battles of Guadalcanal, the first battle of Savo Island. And so hopefully we'll be able to locate that, and we'll see. And then Drix hopefully will be uncovering some additional targets, but we'll see. And we'll have to play that game a little bit in terms of we continuously on a daily basis basically look at our known targets and our unknown targets and distances from each other. And because distances here in the Iron Bottom Sound are so small really, that for most cases it makes much more sense and it's more efficient to do the exercise that we're doing right now, towing the vehicles on the bottom. In essence, that saves you the hour or so that it takes to deploy the vehicle and the almost hour that it takes to recover and secure the vehicle on deck, and then starting up the main engines and all the things that you have to do to move. So towing ends up being a bit more efficient, and also eliminates one of the activities that increases risks to operations like this. Launches recoveries are obviously not without risk, and so it ends up being much more efficient and safe to do these long dives. And to recap, for those folks that have been following on intermittently, it's been a very exciting and eventful first week of our NA-173. Yeah, it's been a very eventful NA-173 expedition, mapping and exploring the Iron Bottom Sound. That expedition started on July 2nd when exploration vessel Nautilus departed from the port in Honiara to begin the 22-day expedition across the Iron Bottom Sound. And the first few days we spent doing some mapping work, doing some really focusing on areas that are a bit further away from what Drix will be targeting in this expedition. So we covered some areas north and west of Savo Island. And so that was the first couple of days of the expedition. And then on day 3 we started with ROV explorations, had a very successful first dive that dove on all the large wrecks that were sunk during the first Battle of Savo Island. So we started with USS Vincennes, then USS Astoria, and USS Quincy, and then actually continued on, also passed across a unknown target, the first of which that we had gotten from Drix that ended up just being a natural feature. We continued further on that dive and then also dove on USS Northampton and hhmmss Canberra. So basically that first dive really did a lot of exciting things. And then later we also dove on the USS Laffey, the Udachi, destroyer the Haven and Preston. So all said and done, we have 9 ships that have been imaged on this expedition. And that's hopefully foreshadowing what will continue to happen here in the next 13 days of operations. So there's, depending on how much you trust some of the incident reports and some of the the last records of some of the wrecks, but depending on how much you trust them, there are at least 20 ships that are yet to be found in deep waters of Iron Bottom Sound. And so hopefully we'll be able to locate many of this. And in addition to that, there's a few other known wrecks that potentially we will be able to get to, including the Ayanami, which we plan to visit tomorrow, but there's a few others, including the USS Cushing and USS Barton and USS Monson, as well as a little bit smaller destroyers, the USS Little and Gregory. And then there's also a couple ships which are just outside, but still within striking distance of the Iron Bottom Sound. Two Japanese battleships, the Hiei and Kirishima. Now those two ships are upside down and have been surveyed pretty much in detail. So at the moment we are not planning to go to that area. The only potential exception there is that a large portion of the Hiei has not yet been found. So as we had a discussion earlier here with our navigator, but yeah, a lot of these ships, portions broke off, the bow being broken off. And yeah, that's the same case for Hiei, so the bow is in a different place and not yet been located. And so yeah, we'll see what we can find. And yeah, we're very excited about the days ahead and very thankful also to all of our viewers who have been following up and sending questions and comments on our website. There's a couple questions just coming in here about the longest dive of ROV Hercules. And if I remember correctly, that's just under 80 hours. And I think we might just beat that record when we pull ROV Hercules on deck tomorrow at noon. So I think that should, if my calculations are right, that should be 84 hours. But hopefully that is just the beginning. I think we'll plan to continue to do these very long dives. It just ends up being a lot more efficient. Another question here about the plans ahead. So our most imminent plans are right now in a little under an hour, we should be approaching an unidentified unknown target. And that target is just off the known location of the USS Walke. So yes, we do have plans to survey the USS Walke, and that should happen tonight. Either in an hour if that first target ends up being a natural feature, or a little bit later if the unidentified target right next to it ends up being something that warrants detailed investigation. take a couple of questions here. Just one, folks are wondering what they are seeing on the screens. And the blue water is, we are towing the vehicles at about 100 meters off the bottom. So this is typical operations is when you want to cover ground, and we are currently covering the ground at about 1 knot, trying to cover some ground to get to our next exploration target. And we don't turn the cameras off during this time, and so yeah, you're just seeing blue water there. And there's a couple questions here about some of the press that was out today in various media outlets around the world, and how people can learn more and can follow along with this expedition. So this and every one of our expeditions aboard exploration vessel Nautilus is streamed live at nautiluslive.org. And on the landing page there, you'll see right center of screen a link to our live streams and our YouTube channel. So you can just hit play there and see one of the many cameras. So there's about a couple dozen of cameras that we have on the ship, as well as another dozen or so cameras that are on the remotely operated vehicles, and our very hard-working video team will select some of those cameras to show to our viewers. And typically there's 3 cameras there that folks can choose from. So on the landing page there, just below the live video link, you'll see an option to click on 3 cameras there, and you can choose and toggle between them. And when we're diving with our remotely operated vehicles, we typically dive in a 2-body configuration. So there's one vehicle that's close to the bottom, typically, ROV Hercules, and then a second vehicle that is towed about 100 feet above it. That's tow sled Atlanta, and each one of those has cameras on it. And there, you'll also notice there on the landing page a text box there where you can ask questions, and folks here in the control van, in addition to all their science responsibilities, also will answer questions that come from the public. And then you'll see, if you continue scrolling down, you can hear and see who is currently on watch, and you'll see there links to the bios of the people that are currently on watch. Those are the voices that you will hear in the audio. And then towards the top of the page, you'll see several tabs there where you can learn more about the numerous technologies that we have there, about our extensive and rich education and outreach programs, which there are many, as well as learning a bit more about our expeditions. And if you follow that, there'll be an expedition link for each and every one of our expeditions, including the one here, where we also populate with additional curated resources. So in addition to having the live video feeds, the live video that people can tune in and hear live, we also cut various products after the fact. So for our expeditions, we'll also cut highlight videos, both for the expedition in itself as well as for individual dives. And you can already see for our current expedition, there is a highlight clip that was launched tonight. That is on the first dive of the expedition that explored the heavy cruiser Vincennes. And then there's also a highlight video about our discovery of the USS New Orleans, and that was picked up by the press. And there's also a video featuring interviews by our onboard maritime archaeologist Hiroshi Ishiu and our onboard naval historian Frank Thompson. And this is just the beginning. Our very hard-working education and outreach team is working diligently and relentlessly around the clock to create additional content that will be uploaded onto the website. And so a lot of things to come. Then another question here, folks hearing the term pilots. So we do have pilots with our submersibles, but these pilots are not going down with our robots. These pilots are sitting on the ship and are controlling the vehicles using a remote controller that's on their lap in essence. And so, yeah, these are pilots that are watching the live streams very much like yourselves at home. They have access to quite a few additional cameras than what you have, so they have a bit more situational awareness about the vehicles. And then you've also heard us use the word pilot to refer to our DRIX pilots, so there's also folks that are helping drive another vehicle where no human is in, but is controlled remotely. So yeah, we have various pilots crewing our various robots.
Good morning, everyone who's waking up and slowly but surely finishing this watch. We're getting this started. If you're hearing a little bit of quiet out there, that's all right. We're just switching from one watch to the other, but stay tuned. We're gonna get started in just a couple minutes here. We're heading to the Walke, so get excited with us. We'll see what that wreck looks like.
Yeah, the other stood much prouder, and was didn't have a kind of smooth shape like that. Yeah, let's do that. Just take a look.
Can you all hop on SPL because you sound really interesting? Bridge, nav. Move bearing 083, range 150 meters. 150. Thank you. For any folks who are just tuning in online, we're currently on our way to the USS Walke, which is a Sims-class destroyer lost in the Second Naval Battle of Guadalcanal. But I think we might be trying to scan for a target that we happen to just see, so stay tuned for that.
Oop.
I guess that's just...
I turned the gain up on the sonar because it's been a little too dark. It's like that we get into these shipwrecks and it's like barely any return. So
Sounds good. I just looked at it and I'm like, it's so blue.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so we're coming up on where we dropped that target.
It should be. It's a ways back here, but I'm following our previous line. This is our nav line, right? This line, this vertical line is bisecting our swath. That's our previous transit line. Is that true?
Let me zoom out because I'm actually not sure if that's our previous transit line. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So I'm just bisecting our.
Oh,
golly, what's happening?
oh, that's not great.
You might have to.
Yeah, Tess, can you pull that off?
Yes, I'm doing it right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you're good.
It likes to be angry after a while.
Tim's software, he calls it low pack.
Does he?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Low pack? What does that mean?
There's it's the tracking software I think they use on this vehicle. They call it high pack. High pack. Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
And then, but he's created his own open source kind of version of it, and he's called it low pack.
I love that.
See if that did anything. It might have.
So can we orient it so that the line is sort of
Yeah, we can orient it however you'd like. Let me just
almost just sort of over the almost like an Atalanta view,
like that?
So I can follow the line. Because my idea here is to just drive back over our previous line. So I need to.
Is that okay? I mean, I can do a top-down view. It's going to be a little disorienting.
That's okay. No, top down is great actually, because then I can really get the swath dialed in there.
You know, I can probably panels. Do you like that better?
Yeah, that works. That's great. That's great. So is that our guy right there on our port, on the port? I think it was it.
You're starting to fall off our previous track line. So that might be.
Oh, that's what I thought. Like I thought this was our. I thought that was our track line. So
we're like right by the target. You just went back past it. So that has to be it.
Yeah, I think that yellow dotted line is just the axis.
To some other point. Okay.
So you want to see the target right over here?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and change the orientation again. Let's look at this thing a little better. I'll try and.
Okay. Well, let me
scanaroo here.
About 50 meters away. So when we close a little bit, I'll just have us hold position.
Okay.
And then we can dive down on it. And then I say we double back and go to where this, because we're actually not that far, so we can just go along the seafloor here to this unknown 48, about 100 meters away.
Yep. Yeah, and this may just be another rock, but you know, it's a good exercise to see you guys pay
let's
attention.
go back. Let's see if we can get a better angle on this too, maybe. Now that we have it in view.
So I have it marked on the port side about here. We can just drive in this direction.
Is the ship stopped? Or
no, but the ship's a little far away. We're about 50 meters away.
Okay.
So I'm just closing a little bit.
I think you need to be back up here because it was on the far outskirts on that track line.
Is this not what
that yellow line is not. That is just an axis line.
No. What's
Oh.
this target on the right, on the left here?
Yeah, is that what you saw, Larry?
Right. Doesn't look like what I saw.
No, it was a lot
sort of-
bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can keep going if you'd like.
I caught a photo of the original target before it went away.
Thank you. Good for you.
Well, I was worried you wouldn't be able to see it again.
Which may be the case.
There we go.
Let's look at that. I mean, I think that's
That
it.
looks about the same size.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, let's close. Let's get this view. See, this doesn't it look like
You
it?
got it.
That's totally it. There's a because it kind of slopes off to the back, just like on the picture. I'm gonna rotate headings on. All right, so let's go ahead and stop the boat, I guess, because it's just off to my port, right?
Bridge, nav.
Or let's see. Pulled back. Okay. Okay. I like it. All right.
Before we get too carried away, we do have a wrap in the 6/8, or not the 6/8, but the tether.
Okay. Thank you. So, all right. Should we go down? Okay. All right. I'll start going down.
Jacob, will you hop on SPL again?
Yes, I am back on SPL.
Marvelous. So, for some context for viewers, it looks like we were transiting to the USS Walke, and then we happened to see something interesting, and now we're doubling back to try and dive on that spot. Is that correct?
We've seen a target. It could be a rock. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's interesting yet, but
Oh, well, it's interesting in that it could be.
Starting to head down with you.
it looks fairly small. I think the last time we saw something around this size was that debris field.
Okay.
Which was those two objects.
Right. There are some folks asking online if we can stream the sonar display again.
Yes. Yeah, Tess, you can put that up.
Marvelous.
Let me just reorient that display for everyone.
Kind of a handy, weird view. I love it. So when you start seeing the sonar,
It's up.
it's up, perfect. We're looking at the kind of target on the left there that we're about to scan perfectly through, so. Here we go.
Oh, you know what? Let me switch us back to DBL.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to go ahead and reset.
Perfect. Yep.
All right. Okay, here's a 10-meter grid for you.
Can we get a different view up in this?
Yeah,
Up
I
on
think
here?
it's time. Definitely.
Okay, I think we have a good idea of where it's at. When we start moving, I'll pull that display up on here for you.
Great. Okay, 10 meters bottom.
Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and hold
Also,
here.
we see a little bit of a return there on Atalanta's
We
sonar.
sure do.
Okay.
All right, changing heading 020-ish.
I'm gonna turn off your aft light if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it. Actually, before I do anything, I'm going to back towards you, and then we'll do, just so I have a little
Roger that.
leash to get my turnout.
And from you, that target bears 035.
035, all right. All right, gonna do a little spinaroo.
So for those of you who might be joining us, we were on the way to the USS Walke, the Sims class destroyer, but we saw a target in our sonar. So we're gonna go see what it could be. It could be a rock, could be something.
Okay, turning on
interesting.
auto heading.
Okay.
Gonna let our
Let me
team
know when you're set up,
focus
and I'll
here
call
for a
out a
second.
move to close that gap.
Okay, ready.
Bridge, nav. Move 25 meter, bearing 075. And we're moving.
I can feel the ship listen to you. Wow.
Oh, these lights. Sorry.
No, you're good. Looks like if we're looking at the target that's on Atalanta's
It's a little to the
sonar is off my bow right up here.
Yeah, so it's actually whatever that is. Whatever that is
I'm
behind us. Huh?
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
a different target, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
And you're headed towards the object right now, yeah?
Yep, we're heading
Yeah.
towards where we marked the object.
Good. Coming around. There you are. All right.
And if you look, that's about where I dropped the, it looks like you're drifting.
Yes, I'm lateraling just to get him some leash here.
Okay.
Turn up the gain again. I don't know. I see nothing on sonar.
Yeah, me either. So we were about here, and it was right this direction.
Right, right. So I should be on a intersect.
Yeah, I'm going to move a little farther this way.
Intercept. Okay.
To the east, to the northeast,
All
and
right.
then we should be able to just drive back over where that was and narrow it down further.
Okay.
Oh. Bridge nav. Move 20 meter, bearing 080. That should be good. Oh,
Got a little something.
Might be the tether on my
yeah, that could be it.
sonar. Okay, I'm down at 9. Got you stretched out pretty far.
Okay. I'm gonna come up higher. Maybe I can do some weird.
I think that might be a
Swathing.
good idea. Yeah, we can get a little bit more of a swath.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at some point we just give up here. But I'll just have to have a cattle prod in the future.
We just didn't hear you. It's loud up here, man.
Turnover is chaotic.
Yeah, what a moment to find an unknown something or other.
Well, there's... Honestly, we're... That could be it. Yeah, and just go straight at it after that.
Starting to come to the end of your leash.
So Mike, are you currently rotating Hercules to try and get the sonar scan for us? Is that what's happening?
I am not flying Hercules. I'm on Atalanta right now.
Oh. Guess that's a Ben question then. If now is a good moment, you can also hyper-focus.
Yeah, I think he's trying to hone in on this sonar target.
You got it.
It should be directly, well, a little bit to port for you.
All right, coming down. Still pretty high. Sorry, coming down.
Yeah, coming down.
It's a tree.
Well,
That's a tree. But I don't think that was what we were seeing, but I don't know what else is out here. Anybody want to look at a tree?
oh, it looks like you're really far out, though. You needed to come 180.
Huh?
The target was over here, so you're about 40 meters away. So you should be bearing 150
150? No, I thought, okay.
from where
I
you're
thought
at.
we were at,
But yeah, I say come back this way, and if we don't see it, we'll just proceed back to our original target.
okay.
Sounds good. That must be me. That must be me. I'll tell my mother. That's me.
There you are.
We did find a tree, though.
That's true. And we got plenty of excitement out of that.
It's a mammoth tusk. Okay, what do you think it was? Where your mouse is?
Yeah, so if you keep going directly ahead, that should be where it is.
Still nothing. Oh, it's on my sonar. I don't know.
And then I'll go pull sonar up when we get a little closer.
Starting to see it on my sonar. If that's the target you're looking.
That might be me, huh?
Maybe.
I think
It's
that
like
is
60 meters out though.
So this is where we saw it.
It's 40 meters out on mine, 40 to 60.
And that is, but that's behind you, sort of over here.
Well, I
right-
just finished my turn, so it will probably line back up now.
Okay, let's take a.
The target was also in the outer beams, so it could have been distorted.
Yeah.
I think it was distorted on size. I don't think there's much of anything over here.
Okay. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go ahead and head to the original Drix target.
So it's target 48.
Target 48. Let me pull this up. Whoops.
And for those of you just joining us, we were on our way to the USS Walke.
Jacob, do you want me to take it off live stream, the Norbit?
The sonar can stay on.
Okay.
But saw something that could have been an interesting target, but we're moving back just to our original one.
Yeah, I think I saw it. I just don't think it was much of anything. All right.
Going back into tow configuration, or
It's about
I
80 meters.
So we'll just,
Okay.
I think we'll just walk to walk.
Walk the walk.
sounds good.
Some folks
Bridge
asked
nav.
if we found anything on the unknown scanned item, and we found a tree, but we don't think it was that one, but we decided to move on before fully checking.
Move 80 meter, bearing 264. Thank you. All right, we're gonna head that way. And then I will pull up the sonar.
I'm gonna snag your bubble cam for a second.
Someone online is saying that they would laugh so hard if it was a mammoth tusk, but it would also be incredibly cool.
I love it.
Listened in for a while.
2 for 2, it's like getting struck by lightning twice.
For what?
To find a second mammoth tusk.
Yeah, second mammoth tusk.
It is a higher chance of getting struck by lightning the second time around.
Probably.
I was like, and also backstory, please. You found one mammoth tusk?
Yeah. Yeah, it was way out to sea, about 400 miles off California coast. We're almost halfway to Hawaii, and we're just diving on a random hill, like a seamount, looking for bioluminescent animals. And it was another pilot in the chair at the time, and they were driving over it, and it looked like a tusk. It was, you know, just like a typical elephant tusk, and people were joking about it. And the pilot, Randy Prickett, who was flying at the time, the Doc Ricketts at Ambari, he said, "You're going to be really sorry if we don't stop and check that out right now." So they grudgingly accommodated him, and they went down. He landed, and his co-pilot Marco used the manip to break off the last 8 inches of it, and it was all manganese encrusted and everything. And they brought it up, and sure enough, it was. They had it tested. It was a adolescent female mammoth from like 150,000 years ago, or some ridiculous number. I can't remember the exact date.
Wow.
But
Out in the middle of the Pacific?
out of the middle of the Pacific, just out in random nowhere. We went there specifically because nobody had ever been there.
And
it was just a.
What was the thought about how it got there?
So the idea was, I guess the running theory was that it had died towards, at some point towards the end of the last ice age, or maybe whenever it died.
Yeah.
And it was near a river, and it washed out. It washed out to sea, and exploded and
wow.
went way out. And then what happens with mammoth tusks is that the tusks are not connected to the skull like elephants. They're kind of free hanging. So like when the body rotted, the tusk would just pop out and fall to the bottom. So that kind of explains why there was no second tusk or a skull or a whole body. It was just sitting there at the top of this random volcanic seamount.
Yeah, we found one too, a small, I don't know if they call it a mini mammoth or something. It was off the Channel Islands. So
oh, really? California?
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
Much more rational place for it. But it was, we were exploring caves off the Channel Islands, and there was a
was it with an ROV or were you diving?
Yeah, no, it was an ROV.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. Well, that's...
It's in one of the annual reports, oceanography supplements.
It's crazy.
Also found fossilized beak whale skeletons out in the Central Pacific.
Fossilized what? What was that?
Beaked whale skulls.
Wow.
The rostrum of it is a more dense bone material, and they're totally encrusted with manganese out at Kalama, at Johnston Atoll.
Wow.
What's up?
Can you SBL?
Okay.
Speaking of interesting animals, Noel, do you want to try and share some of the cool animals that we've been kind of seeing floating around as we see them?
The animals we've seen on the wrecks so far?
Yeah, well, so, yeah, go for that too. That sounds great.
Yeah, okay, cool. We've seen some really cool biological communities on a couple of the wreck sites. We've been noticing some differences across the wrecks. Some of them have really dense, really biodiverse communities, and others have very little biological growth that you can see except for in a few key spots. And we've been thinking a lot about that. But species-wise, we've seen a variety of deep-sea corals
Am I going the right
that
way?
seem to like the shipwrecks.
You got to come a little bit.
We saw
to,
some Borrelia
starboard.
species. We've
So
seen
are we
a
going to the
couple
walk?
other
No, no,
ones that we're not
we
totally
didn't check
sure
out.
what the
Oh,
species
okay.
are
So
and
we have to
haven't
go look
spent
at
a
the
lot of time
148.
zooming in on those yet. But we had some fun sightings of goosefish on several of the wrecks. We've seen a couple cat sharks.
Cat shark?
And then
Totally
Lots of
confused.
shrimps,
And then we'll
spot
come down to the
lobsters,
walk.
and king
then there's
crabs
another
around,
fish
as well as a
Okay.
ton of gooseneck barnacles.
Which
really seem to be very common all
might
across
be
the
the
wreck
walk.
sites.
If,
So
if it's oriented this way.
Starting to stretch
yeah,
out.
it's been cool to see what likes these habitats and how they're all connected.
Yeah.
My favorite are the gooseneck barnacles. My favorite are the gooseneck barnacles.
What do you like about them?
They look like little tube worms.
They're cute.
So every time I see them, I say, oh, it's a hydrothermal vent, but it's
Aw.
not.
Oh, is that what those are? Oh man. Incredible. So where are we off to? We're looking at...
We have an unknown target, potential target. It didn't look terribly convincing, but it's always worth giving a look.
That was from Drix, right?
Yeah, from Drix, unknown 48, and that's very, very close to the USS Walke, or Walke. I don't know how to say it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I've seen it, the feed over the past couple. I thought it was walk, but I've seen several people say walka, and then I've seen others say walk. So.
The problem is, as I was looking up, there's a USS Walker too, ER.
Yeah.
But if you're from Boston, it wouldn't make a difference. It's a Waka.
Waka.
Good. I
either
only
one.
can say it right.
Walk was one of the ships lost during the climactic night where Washington and Kirishima had their duel.
Yeah.
And she was struck by what we believe to be cruiser gunfire and a Japanese long lance torpedo. Sank rather rapidly, and her survivors were drifting throughout the night. Had a couple harrowing moments where enemy ships briefly illuminated them in the water, and then but didn't molest them. They moved on.
I guess a submarine rose.
Yeah,
Japanese submarine rose up.
I
right
can
behind
only
them.
imagine how helpless they must have felt.
And it also lost its bow, but the bow floated for a while,
Yeah.
and there were survivors staying on the floating bow too.
And then the survivors got to witness, I guess, one of the last acts of that action when American aircraft sank the Japanese transports that were had beached up on the shore to offload supplies and troops.
And they also had another tragedy, I guess. In this case, some of the depth charges did go off amongst the survivors. Yeah. But the vessel sank in about 3 minutes. So,
3 minutes.
Yeah, and so they did try to set the depth charges on safe, but you can imagine in that kind of...
Destroyers usually sink pretty fast when they have that kind of catastrophic damage.
What caused the damage in this case?
Cruiser fire and a Japanese long lance torpedo.
Wow.
The Japanese long lance has been a recurring character in our expedition.
It's interesting. We basically have to see the selection of things that definitely were the most likely to sink, right? Because
I'm sorry, what?
I guess
meters away,
when we're looking at
274 from you.
All the wrecks that have actually been sunk, it's kind of like when
to have like a relative bearing from
you're comparing to planes that have flown back and
also,
then didn't get shot down.
What appears to be something
you're just
ahead of us
looking
there
at
too. See
the types
on
of things
sonar,
that actually
right there.
Sunk the ships.
So there's something there, which correlates. So we're about to see something.
Ooh, there's something happening here. What it is
doesn't look like a ship or anything.
Isn't exactly clear.
Maybe it'll be a piece or a bell. That'd be nice. A
Ooh,
really
just
big
a singular bell floating.
Yeah,
2 times lucky.
A massive bell.
How big is this target exactly?
I feel like it's not a wreck at that point, so we could.
If we found a bell that's not on a wreck.
Yeah, can you grab it at that point?
Yeah. How does that work?
Definitely not.
I think the phrase is that's a decision to be made at a higher pay grade.
Yeah.
So I have to consult my my superiors.
What if we gave it to your superiors?
Well, what is it the Navy says? Better to ask for forgiveness than permission? Or?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they say that a lot. Semper Gumby, always flexible.
Semper Gumby.
So that's off my port. Off my port side.
Yeah. Is that the Walker, maybe? No.
Because
it's
the site is
20,
very
40.
close. It's very close to the Walker.
Oh no, because that's 40. He's got it at 40 meters per division, so that's 40, 80, 120 meters out. That's totally the Walker.
Those should be 20-meter rings, unless that was changed.
Yeah, it looks like they've changed.
Oh, it says 40 meters. Yeah, that is.
I'm coming down.
Pull me around.
All right. Yeah, because I got nothing on mine.
Can you turn the gain up on yours as well?
I have.
Oh no.
There's not much on there.
Huh.
I see Herc.
It's good to know that Hercules is still there.
Hercules is still there. Makes a great sonar target.
Yeah, it keeps showing up.
It's that high density glass foam.
Stuff is pretty weird. Oh, there's something. What's this?
60 meters out off
20,
my port.
40, 60 port. Okay, yeah, well, that's... We'll see what this target
Coming up
is.
tight. All right, pulling me around.
Is that the tree again? On the left?
Target's 20 meters, bearing 279 from you.
Okay. Right on target here.
I see a rock.
It should be on my sonar, but I see nothing.
There was something on the to the left ahead of you that's kind of going out of view now.
Yeah, that was just schmutz. Who knows?
Okay,
It doesn't look.
Is that a
What's
tire?
this?
There's a bunch of trash in here. I mean, it may be relevant, but to some wreck, but it's. That looks like some sort of barrel.
Can you zoom in on that?
Sure.
Might as well take a look.
Do you want me to zoom now?
Yeah, go for it, Tess. Coming down.
Coming down.
I'll just come down while we're wasting time on it.
What?
Got some Takis.
Like some trash.
Yeah, no more interested in the metal debris.
Almost looks like the bottom of a projectile.
Yeah, on the right. Yeah, exactly.
Right next to the Trader Joe's bag.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Wow.
Trader Joe's, you're killing me.
Trader Vic's brand depth charges. Okay, all right.
I think it's pretty safe to say there's nothing significant here.
Okay, you haven't gone over the site of unknown 48 yet.
Let's zoom out, Test.
Cool.
Thank you. Here's
Do we know how big that little cylindrical object was? Did you laser that?
yeah, I did. It was maybe about half a meter long. So something like the diametrically like this, and then like a beer keg, a small beer keg.
Maybe a depth charge, maybe?
Oh, were they that small?
No,
like this?
depth charge is 55.
No, lead depth charge would be bigger, yeah.
More.
Sorry, I'm not up. I'm not as versed in the metric system.
But it did look like the back of a...
It did look like the back of a projectile.
And it should be directly to your port, about 5 meters. Or it's that bag. Because I don't see much of anything there.
Nothing on sonar. Nothing on Atalanta.
Yeah, that one's, I mean, yeah, sounding on minus 60 meters out.
Yeah, now it's saying it's on your starboard. I think it might have been that bag.
Okay.
No, there's no way Drix picked up that bag.
Yeah, well, I guess that's true. I didn't know if they were looking at backscatter or something.
No. That other hunk of metal could have caused some spurious responses. But my looking at HYPACK survey, it says you haven't gone over the site, unless I'm reading it wrong.
I mean, it's about 2 meters away, so he's looking right at it.
Yeah, the only thing, basically, it's like right here exactly is this bag thing, or this whatever this is. I just didn't want to drive over this because I don't want to knock it up into the thrusters, but that's like exactly where.
That's the target on sonar directly.
All right, interesting. All right.
That's it. That's the target on sonar.
Okay. Wow.
So it has maybe there's some sort of audible reflection on
Yeah,
there.
no, if it's covering up something, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
The target on Atalanta's sonar, that one that's 60 out.
There's something on, yeah, there is something on.
That one's been pretty stable. Every time I move it,
Okay.
moves with it.
We can try and go over there.
Yep, please.
That's the direction we need to go anyways.
Okay,
So
so Mike, let's have you face that and I'll align with you.
Okay.
That'll give us our good bearing to it.
Frank, we have some questions on what a depth charge is.
A depth charge is an anti-submarine weapon carried by destroyers and some cruisers.
meters.
It literally is like looks like a can almost, cylindrical in shape. And you usually, in movies, when you see them, they usually roll off these tracks that are located at the stern of the ship. Just let gravity fall, and they roll off the ship, and then they sink to a predetermined depth, and then they explode. The theory being the concussion caused by it, damages, breaches the submarine's hull. Later, another type of launcher, called the K-Con, would shoot them. Literally, they would be like they would kind of shoot them into the sky, and then they would land in the water, go down, and sink. Wow. But a depth charge is a anti-submarine weapon.
Right, and those are the ones that we saw in our last watch, or the watch
on
before?
De Haven, we saw the racks at the stern.
Yeah, that we were grateful they were.
Okay, I'm going that way.
Actually, going.
I stopped short, maybe 15, 18 meters from the object.
All right, so I gotta get my button gear here. Coming back towards you, Mike. Okay.
And that will put us about, let me see. That puts us about 50 meters from the Walke.
Great, okay.
So we're going
Frank,
in the right direction anyways.
Shoot the depth charges, the ones that don't just roll off. Do you know what, is that compressed air again, or?
It's a charge.
It's a charge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do a little Tokyo drifting here.
What's Tokyo drifting?
I have to Google that one.
Yeah.
I wish these Drix targets said the height of the object.
Well, unless it's big, it's hard to tell. I mean, I looked at some of the ones that Val picked, and they're based on a few points that are, which always could be noise, but
I got you.
Oh, I see.
Just below me.
So when we see real big vessels, then you can get the height quite easily. But these were just a few anomalous returns.
Understood.
Even if you remember the bow of the New Orleans, what turned out to be the bow of the New Orleans, then we were able to get a height on that. There were enough hits that we said it was about 3 meters proud, but it was 40 meters in width.
All the more reason to keep exploring unknown ones, right? Larry, since Drix is completely your awesome thing, do you want to explain how some of these targets actually got found?
Sure. So Drix is a uncrewed vessel. It's about 7.7 meters long, 24 feet long. It can be operated from anywhere in the world, really. We've had